Akademiks has allegedly completed a Diddy and a Meek Mill investigation. Since the initial wave of lawsuits against Diddy, many folks online theorized that Meek Mill was somehow involved in the Bad Boy Mogul's alleged sexual assault scandal. But moreover, this is because Lil Rod's lawsuit against Sean Combs, the Diddler, made an allusion to an unnamed Philadelphia rapper. But Meek Mill himself has vehemently denied any involvement in any capacity. No bunny hopping was going on here, he said. However, he might see a retort to that thanks to a new allegation from DJ Akademiks. Furthermore, on his live stream, Big Ak alleged to have found out who was the person behind these rumors. He said that he will let the Philly MC know who it is once he gets his $100,000 in his bank account. But let's check out what Big Ak actually has to say on the situation. Here we go.
Full expose. I don't care who's behind it. Meek send the 100,000 over. By the way, somebody sent this message to Meek Mill. I found out who's behind the Diddy and Meek Mill press. Everything going out. I found out the person. I have the name. I have the report. But I need the $100,000 in my bank account before I give it to you, Meek Mill. I found out who was behind making sure that a nigga who be in the trenches is actually, his name is going to be aligned with Diddy and other people. But as you said, I need that $100,000.
Cut the check, anyway, my ninja. Dear Meek Mill, DJ Akademiks captioned a post featuring a live stream clip on his alternate Instagram account at DJ Akademiks TV. Akademiks and his team of private investigators at the Academy have discovered the individual linking you and Diddy after a 2 weeks investigation. Please wire the $100,000 to Akademiks' bank account, and the name of the individual linking you to the Diddler will be revealed. Meanwhile, Bobby It's Shmurda also has a theory as to why there are many Meek Mill rumors, not just about Diddy, but also about his sexuality. You leave that team, they come for you, Shmurda said on the Danza Project, alluding to how the labels and the public relation teams allegedly spread these rumors after he left them. We own the internet. We will spread all these rumors about you. I will put out thousands, 3,000 comments, make them jokes. I'm gonna pay for comments on every post, bruh. Yeah!
And hate runs deep in the music world.
Oh boy, it's going down in Diddle Town. Diddy's alleged sex tape with a male celebrity reportedly subject to bidding war. Let's get ready to rumble! In this corner, we have the freaky deaky Diddy file tapes. And yes, they're going for $500 zillion. But guess what? You get a free baby oil basket. You get 100 bottles of free baby oil and a gift card to the Diddler Burger, where you can get a Diddler Burger with extra diddle sauce. And would you like fries with that? A lawyer for various Diddy accusers think it might go public real soon. Oh boy, the Diddy scandal has spread like wildfire online. While there's a lot to parse through, these are still just allegations at the end of the day. But moreover, we'll see what happens with his federal case for alleged sex trafficking and whether any of these allegations are involved in some way. But nevertheless, one of the big stories floating around right now concerns an alleged sex tape featuring Sean Combs and an A-list male celebrity, attorney Ariel Mitchell Kidd, a representative for various alleged sexual assault victims of his, recently claimed that a bidding war began over the alleged sex tape. She thinks it might go public soon, unless the other celebrity buys for a catch and kill. That's right, that means to catch that story and kill it before it gets out. I received the New York Post article from the person who contacted me to sell the tape. Mitchell Kidd told News Nation about the piece, claiming that the celebrity in the alleged Diddler sex tape is horrified about its sale. I was not shocked by what I read in the article. The person who has the tape really doesn't want to shop it around. They really want to help and wanted to directly sell it to that person. But it seems as if they're going elsewhere. Well,
Well, if you really wanted to help, why not just give them the tape?
Hey, let's check out what Ariel Mitchell Kidd has to say about the bidding war of the Diddler Files.
If you were an attorney for this A-lister, how would you handle this? You know, is there a way to make this go away other than the hush money thing? Is there anything that can be done legally?
It's not a hush money situation. There's a thing of value that is for sale. So in a legal sense, the only way to control it is to have possession of it. So if the person is that concerned about this seeing the light of day where they're praying that it goes away, I can certainly tell that person, I hate to say prayer won't work in this situation, but the only way is to do something, to act. Otherwise, if you're going to leave it into the hands of others will purchase it. And legally, it's a way for them to get around. They can blur out the other person. They could, blur out maybe the pornographic parts, but it could come out and it could be figured out who this person is very easily.
I really do feel bad about the person. Diddy's accuser's lawyer continued. Part of the reason I did come and say something, I wanted to sound the alarm to that person that they maybe should do something about it. If I was them, I would definitely do something about this. But the only way to do anything is to do a catch and kill. That's the only way it won't come out. From what I'm hearing, I think someone will leak the alleged tape soon, Mitchell Kidd added to the outlet. I'm hearing whispers there is at least one major network, possibly two, in a bidding war for that purchase, unless the person comes forward and purchases the video themselves, which is really the goal of the people who have the video at this point. Oh, they're so sweet. If that person doesn't want to purchase it, it's going on the open market.
Hey man, I gotta say one thing right quick. So what she's saying as a lawyer and attorney of law is that if somebody films me doing the freaky deaky with one of my lady friends and somebody tapes it, that they can sell it lawfully and all I can do is pay them and be blackmailed? Man, so y'all saying that blackmail is legal, right? Because if you're taped unconsensually, I gotta check the MCLs and the laws on this one. But we're on to the next story.
More from the Diddler Files.
More allegations emerge about Diddy and the Tupac murder amid Diddy's federal case for alleged sex trafficking and a mountain of sexual assault allegations. Other alleged skeletons and bones continue to pop out of the closet. But moreover, News Nation recently spoke with Cheryl McCollum, who was a crime scene investigator for the death of Tupac Shakur. McCollum alleged that Sean Combs is involved in both that 1996 incident in Las Vegas and to the 1994 shooting that resulted from a failed New York City robbery in Quad Studios, as Combs was reportedly in the studio with a 40-person entourage. Man, it looks like it's time for Diddy to order a new pillow and a Posturepedic mattress. But let's check out Laura Ingle and crime scene investigator Cheryl McCollum. Here we go.
It is so important. What a great resume you have. Thank you for being here tonight, Cheryl. You know this case so well, so we wanted to get your reaction to this story now that we're digging back into it.
You know, soon as I heard the news today, first thing I thought about, Laura, is they're looking at the wrong case. This whole thing to me started in 1994. The first time Tupac is shot is in New York City, the recording studio. That's where he was targeted. So to me, I would start there.
Did your investigation include Sean Combs back then when you were working with Tupac's mom?
Yes, and the reason it did is the very night that I'm talking about. In 1994, at that recording studio, Sean Puffy Combs was there. And, you know, if you look at what occurred, Tupac gets into an elevator and is shot 5 times, which they are calling a robbery. Well, you and I both know you ain't got to shoot somebody 5 times to take their jewelry and their money.
Right.
He is literally a fish in a barrel. And when they start shooting at him, Sean Puffy Combs and his entourage of 40 unarmed, unthreatened. How does that make sense to anybody? one person is going to be robbed and not the other 40. Who would have had more money and jewelry? 40.
Right.
That's not what happened.
I mean, it's incredible, all this detail that people are talking about again now. How far did you get with your investigation? Because I know that you walked the crime scenes. What is the significance of the two crime scenes for you? Because you have this incredible perspective.
Well, I've walked crime scenes with you. You know the importance. You and I have worked together. You cannot substitute going. These two scenes to me, biggest thing that sticks out is both times that Tupac Shakur is shot, he is trapped in something. He's trapped in an elevator, and then he's trapped in a car. There is literally nowhere to run. First time he's shot, it's 5 times. The next time, it's 4. Both of those scenes, he's with people that he knows. He's surrounded by people that he knows. Both scenes, though, ironically, don't have video footage. So, to me, this signifies somebody close to him knows his whereabouts on that day, that time, and that location. That, to me, shrinks your suspect pool pretty good. Only a handful of people would have known where he was on both of those days at that time.
That's really interesting. When we go back to that shooting in 1994, what do you think is the most important evidence from that shooting?
When I went to Vegas, I met with Frank Collada, a mafia hitman. And Frank told me, he said, if you're sitting at a table, you don't know who the mark is, you're the mark. So to me, we don't have to look any more than Tupac's own words. He said when he got to the studio that night in 1994, Sean Combs and his entourage would not look at him. He knew that was not right. It gave him that feeling that something is up. Well, when you won't look somebody in the eye because you know what maybe was coming down, that tells you right there. Later, Tupac himself said Diddy was the mastermind of that 1994 shooting.
Wow. Why do you think this is happening right now? Why are we hearing more? Is it because Diddy's back in the news and these allegations are out there and now he's in jail or a detention center being held? Do you think that's why this is all happening now? Now people feel safe to come out?
They feel safe. When he was denied bond the second time, look what happened with the women. We went from 11 victims to over 120. And I believe that number is going to quadruple. So now the family of Tupac feels safe. Bodyguard is not going to come after them. Another staff member or another person connected to him is not going to come after them. Everybody connected to Sean Puffy Combs right now is under a microscope. So the family is safe to come out and have these, both of these cases, in my opinion, looked at.
What are you going to be looking for next in this story? This just broke today. Just real quick in closing, what are you looking for next?
Connection of Keefe D, Orlando Anderson, and Sean Puffy Combs.
All right, we'll see what happens. I got to tell you, Cheryl McCollum, you were the very first person I thought of when this news broke today, because you and I have talked at CrimeCon and other places about your involvement in this case and following it and knowing the details. I'm so glad that you were here with us tonight, Cheryl McCollum. Thank you so very much.
Man, what do you think about the bombshell that the crime scene investigator just dropped? Man, that just might be the nail in the coffin. But meanwhile, this comes after Tupac Shakur's family reportedly hired Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro, to investigate the alleged link between Pac's death and the diddler. No new information or developments have emerged from that reportedly new process. People also wonder if this will tie back to the federal indictments against Sean Puffy Combs. But we'll have to stay posted on both these matters. And we're on to the next story. In other Diddy investigation news, former NYPD detective alleges that the mogul could expose celebrity friends. Derek Parker alleges that everybody's very scared right now. It goes without saying that Diddy is in the midst of a serious legal battle. Yes, the battle of his life. The Bad Boy founder was arrested in New York City last month and has since remained behind bars at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. He's been hit with charges for alleged racketeering and sex trafficking. This development has prompted a great deal of speculation about what the outcome of his case will be. During a recent interview with News Nation's The Scoop, for example, former NYPD detective Derek Parker shared his theory on what could possibly happen. Parker, also known as the hip-hop cop, investigated the NYC hip-hop scene in the 1990s and the early 2000s. He says, I don't see Combs getting out. With so much of the outcry of the victims in this case, he may either make a deal where he becomes king for a day, where he tells everything he knows about someone else that might be bigger than what he's doing for a deal, he stated. I think anybody will rat if they're getting put in a certain position. No Diddy. Were you looking at R. Kelly time he added?
R. Kelly's doing 20 to 30 years on 2 separate cases in jail. That was 2 cases, right? Combs has got 100 plus cases. And the problem he also has is the outcry of all the witnesses. It's hard for a jury, I think, to listen to all these people come forward. As for who Diddy could allegedly expose, he suspects that Jay-Z could allegedly be on the list. Jay-Z and Diddy were pretty close, he alleged.
But let's check out what the hip-hop cop actually has to say about Diddy and Jay-Z.
I think that Jay-Z, from what you know of him, do you think that he knew what was going on at these freak-offs, at these parties and the drugs?
I would say that it's alleged that he knows, but they were. I mean, a lot of people went to these parties. It's not just Jay-Z. There are other more important people that are at these freak-off parties that are everybody's very scared right now. You notice.
So who other more important people? Like, what are the names that you would be looking at?
Well, I mean, Ashton Kutcher has already been linked to having business with Diddy and being involved in some of the things. So I know that he's a little taken back by this because I've been hearing that about him. And then there are other people that Diddy's had relationships with. You got to remember, he was a billionaire and on a billionaire status where he moved and ran with the most elite celebrities and entertainers in the world. So I'm sure all these people were at this party at one time. LeBron James was always saying, "Hey, Diddy party there's no party like a Diddy party." So,
because I've been reading about that too. Do we really think LeBron James went to some?
Oh yeah, he was at those parties. From what we know, he was definitely at those parties. They're linking so many celebrities into this. Kevin Hart now. They're putting so many people involved. Every day the Kardashians. Every time you see something go on, you see people putting all of these different people as possibly being at these parties.
And the Kardashians went to his parties back in the day when Kim was just starting out and was hanging out with Ray J, and we know about that video.
Right, exactly. So a lot of this stuff is right now. Everything is starting to come out, and this you haven't seen the last of this. This is just the beginning.
What are the biggest names that you think we're gonna see?
Oh my God, they've listed a bunch of names like Chris Brown. There's so many names that have been listed in this party. And they're all A-type celebrities, Justin Bieber, Usher, they're putting all of these people.
I look at Justin Bieber and Usher as kind of victims.
Yeah, and they may well be, in these days.
We now got talk of a 9-year-old involved. So.
But here's the problem, too, that's coming out with this, and this is what I see. Is that now Texas already said they have over 50 individuals and a minor.
No, they got over 100.
Over 100, okay, now over 100. And these people are coming out now because a lot of it, and like one attorney said to me, Derek, a lot of this is maybe somewhat real and some of them is not real. So it's really a money grab in some of the cases. But they have to sift through that. They have to determine what's real and what's not real because a lot of people got the allegations.
Did you see this? Because what I saw in my time at Page 6 in the music industry, they were always it was always a very misogynistic scene. It was like they would talk about chicken heads and passing the girls around, and it was just taken for granted. It was like, oh yeah, get that.
Well, I got to tell you, when Diddy threw his parties, especially his white parties and stuff, everybody wanted to be there. And if you didn't dress a certain way to have a suit on or what he specified you needed to have to get in, he wouldn't let you in no matter who you were. And everybody wanted to come to his parties. Everyone, celebrities, NFL players, Major League Baseball players, NBA players. But listen, it is because of who he is and who he was,
What do you think snowballed Puffy? I knew him as Puffy.
I know him as Puffy.
Thank you so much. I had some people in the office saying, you don't know him at all. Nobody calls him Puffy. I'm like, oh, that's because you're 20. What do you think? At what point did it snowball from Diddy breaking into the music industry, Diddy becoming semi-mogul, then going more into marketing? At what point do you think it took a really, really dark turn? Because for me, it was the Club New York shooting.
No, well, the Club New York shooting was just it was a start. That whole case that's the start of everything that happened. What I think happened is that he gradually became this person who was starting to climb the ladder in the entertainment industry, where he was becoming one of the more prominent music executives in this business. He and Jay-Z, if you notice, they've elevated themselves to be very, very big music moguls and in this industry. So I think what happened was that on his way up, he probably thought maybe he was invincible with some of the things that he did. Because if you saw some of the things that he talked about and how he treated people, he had no care about what he said to you or what he did to you, and he didn't care much about that. So I think what happened was that it took a turn where he thought he could get away with certain things and nobody would say anything because they either could be paid off or maybe, in some way offer some kind of compensation and forget about it and move on. And that's what I think happened.
It's actually interesting because I've talked to a bunch of people and they always use, and I remember Puffy bragging about it to me too. Like, he's got the cops on his payroll. He's got cops who could sort everything out in New York, LA, and Miami. Did you ever see any of that?
I never saw that. I don't know if that's true, if he had any cops on his payroll. It could be possible. Like I said, I haven't had a connection with Puff for years, but it could be possible where he might have had somebody who was friends with him, but I don't know that.
Did he ever approach you and be like, "Hey, what's going on, Derek?
No. When we left and disconnected, we just disconnected. When I was in the police department, they felt also they were troubled about myself too, because when I took over this rap intel unit, I created it, and they were asking me like, we were worried that you could be compromised, where you might start to see the celebrities and see this thing for yourself to build something bigger. But I was never like that, and even when I retired off the job, they did the same thing when I was with the Murder Inc. guys, and they were following me, the FBI, looking to see if I was going to be providing that R. Kelly time. R. Kelly's doing 20 to 30 years on 2 separate cases in jail. And look what happened. And you look what happened to R. Kelly.
And that was only 2 cases. Now
that was 2 cases, right? He's got
like 100.
And the problem you have too is the outcry of all these witnesses. It's hard for a jury, I think, to listen to all these people come forward if the government presents them to give a positive verdict where he gets acquitted. That's going to be very difficult. I mean, it's going to be tough.
Eric Adams.
Oh.
Did you know Eric? Because he was a cop when you were a cop.
I went to high school with him.
No.
And we're good friends.
So what's going to happen in that?
I feel bad for him. I really do. I talked to him about maybe 2 or 3 months ago. We were talking.
Yeah.
And this stuff, I guess I'm not in his inner circle, but his people.
Right.
But I feel bad for him because he really is a good guy. And we went to high school together.
Was he I don't know what's going on, or what does he